Welcome to Lit House English Literature course. In our previous discussion, we talked about sound devices. The first sound device we discussed was rhyming. Today in this session, we are going to discuss another important sound device of English literature, that is alliteration. Alliteration. Alliteration is also a commonly used sound device in lyrical poetry. What is lyrical poetry? Lyrical poetry means musical poetry. Poems written specially by William Wordsworth, Coleridge, Tennyson, like poets. Now, alliteration. Alliteration. What is alliteration? Now you have some idea about rhyming. Alliteration. Alliteration is a technique in which a poet repeats consonantal sounds. Consonantal sounds. Repeat consonantal sounds in the same poetic line. That is the definition. Repetition of the same consonantal sound at the beginning of each word. Now, this is the main aspect of this technique. Remember this, beginning of each word of a poetic line. Now, alliteration is used and checked in a specific poetic line in the beginning of each specific word. Now, alliteration means repetition of repeating the consonantal sounds. Now you have a problem. What is the problem? Consonantal sound. First, you have to understand what a consonantal sound means. If you do not have any understanding about it, you will never pick out, you will never understand the poet's use of alliteration. You will never enjoy the taste, sound taste of a poem. Sound taste, Shabda Rasa. Right. Then your challenge is to know consonants. Consonants are the things that make consonantal sounds. Right? Consonants are the things that make consonantal sound. What is a consonant? Consonant is a type of English letter. Now in English alphabet, you know there are 26 letters. We divide those 26 letters into 5 vowels and 21 consonants. Right? You know 5 vowels. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. They are the 5 vowels. When we remove these 5 vowels from the alphabet, the rest is the consonant. Now, for example, B, S, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z or Z. Now, these are the 21 consonants. These 21 consonants, they have different sounds. Now, remember, B, we say B or S or D. This should be C, not SC, right? We say B, C, D, F. Actually, they are the name of these characters, name of these letters. ඒවා මේ අකුරු වලට දුන්න නම්, අකුරට දුන්න නම. But these letters, they have distinctive sounds. Distinctive sounds. More than, now there are 21 consonants, but there can be sounds more than 21. There can be more than 21 sounds. Now, look at these words. Now, let's identify the initial consonantal sounds in these words. Now, our argument is, concept is, alliteration is the use of the same consonantal sounds at the beginning or starting point of a word. Now, first, we have to understand the sounds, consonantal sounds produced by consonants. Book. Now, look at this word, book. The initial letter is B. Initial letter, consonant is B. It's a consonant. What is the sound? Book. Sound. B sound. Book. You can add some other words. Ball. Bat. Likewise. Initial beginning sound is B, letter is B sound. Second example, cut, cup, come, cold. What is the initial letter? C. Now, don't get confused. Letter is C, but the sound is K. Cup, cut, come, cold. We do not sound them as cusp or cust. It's very difficult to sound even, right? Or sup, sat, some, soul. No, hilarious. Because this letter C produces the sound K. This letter C produces the sound K. Cup, cut, come, cold. Initial sound is K, but the letter is C. Remember. Next example. Keep, kill, kettle. Now there you see K. Sound is K, letter is K. Sound is K, letter is K. Keep, K, kill, K, kettle, K. Next example. Center C ceiling set. center, C, ceiling, set. Now, center. Beginning letter is C. The sound is the same, S. Letter name is C, sound is S. Here, C. Letter is S. The sound is S. Here, ceiling. Letter is C. The sound is S. Here, the set. Letter is S. The sound is S. Now you can see in all these words, the beginning sound is S. They have different letters, different consonants. Different consonants produce different sounds. That is the theory for an alliteration. Next one, nut. Initial letter is N, sound is N. Near. Initial letter is N, sound is N. No. Look at this strange word, no. There is a consonant, K, and after K, there is another consonant, N. But we do not sound the first consonant. It's a dead consonant. Right? Dead. It does not produce any sound. But we sound the second consonant, N. N. Therefore, this letter K, this consonant K is disregarded in alliteration. We don't regard it because it has no sound. It's a dead letter. We speak the word no, forgetting K. The same thing in the word knife. We forget K, we pronounce or speak sound N, knife. There are many other words in English language like this, which have no sounds at all. They are silent letters. Last one, mug. Initial letter is M, consonant. Sound is M. Mug, meat, mat. Right. Now, this is how various consonants have various sounds. Sometimes one consonant has two different sounds, like the letter C. Now, letter C, consonant C, has S sound as well as K sound. We are concerned with these sounds, not with the letters. We don't care the letters. We care the sounds produced by these consonants. Right. Try to understand. Now, how do we find out the actual use of alliteration in poetry? Now, inborn poets, the poets by birth, they use these sounds automatically without any free thinking, because they are naturally born to write lyrical poems. Naturally, those sound devices occur in their imagination. Right? Now, definition you can still remember. What is the definition for consonant? The repetition of the same consonantal sounds in one poetic line. Now look at this. This is a tongue twister. Tongue twister. What is the meaning of tongue twister? Tongue twisters are used in language classrooms to train the students who have difficulties in pronouncing certain sounds of English. Now, foreign learners, non-native learners of English, they have this difficulty. Now, tongue twisters are created repeating the same sound in alliteration. Repeating the same sound in alliteration. Now read this. Betty bought some butter, but it was bitter. So she bought some better butter to make bitter butter better. What is the common sound, consonant sound you heard? Read it loudly. You will never identify, never feel sound devices unless you read the poem, poetic line loudly. You must speak loudly so as to hear, to be heard by your own ears. Betty bought some butter, but it was bitter. What is the common sound, consonant sound you hear? B. You see this initial B. Betty B. Bought B. Butter B. But B. Bitter B. Bitter. You see? Now we say, in this poetic line, the sound B is alliterated. Note it down if you wish. The sound B is alliterated. The sound B is repeated. The sound B is repeated. Consonant letter B is used in different words in a series, in repetition. Now this is alliteration. Do you understand now? Because of this B sound, this line is interesting to read. Now, even in modern advertisements, the advertisement writers use these techniques, especially the advertisement for the children. They use alliteration, rhyming, because children can easily remember them. Cartoons names, names of some food and beverages, they use. Check them in everyday life. Now, let's read the second line. So she bought some better butter. Better butter. You see here, again, bought, again, better, and butter. To make bitter butter better. Again, last line. Bitter, butter, better. Now, I think technical aspect of alliteration is clear to you now. In one line, remember. Right. Now, this is a tongue twister. The language practitioner uses these twisters to train his or her mouth in these sounds. The technique is alliteration. Now, alliteration in a poem. This is very important. This is our subject matter. We are not going to check alliteration. Alliteration in poems. We are not going to check alliteration in tongue twisters. This is the actual lesson, subject matter. Now, look at this screen. He clasped the crack with crooked hands. close to the sun in lonely lands. Ring with the azure world he stands. This stanza comes from Alfred Lord Tennyson's lyrical poem, The Eagle. Now read the first line again loudly. He clasped the crag with crooked hands. He clasped the crag with crooked hands. He clasped the crag with crooked hands. Now, if you listen to the sounds of these letters, you may identify one distinctive sound continuously used, repeatedly used. What is that sound? Clash. This letter C, K sound. Crag, this letter C, K sound. Crooked, this letter C, K sound. Now, this is how we find alliteration in actual poetry. In one line, repeated same consonantal sound. Therefore, we say clash, crag, crooked are alliterated. Or they are in alliteration. You see, K sound is repeated. Clash, crack, crooked, clash, crack, crooked, clash, crack, crooked. Right. Second line, close to the sun in lonely lands, lonely lands, lonely lands. What is the common consonantal sound you hear? Lonely, lands. Now they are in alliteration. Lonely and lands are in alliteration because they begin with the same consonant and with the same consonantal sound. Lonely lands. Right. That is how we find actual alliteration in actual poetry. Okay? Within one line, you don't check, we don't check alliteration within two lines. Now here, class, close. Actually, they begin with the same consonant, with the consonantal, same consonantal sound, but we do not regard them as in alliteration. We don't regard them. Because our definition is within one line, not within two lines. That is the theory. Now, this is another poem, right? This is written by Indian poet Chattopadhyaya, The Earthen Goblet. This is one part of it, not the whole poem. It's a long poem, very nice one. Find it out and read it. Now, this part is spoken by the earthen goblet. By the earthen goblet to the poet. Right. Now let's find out alliteration here. I used to feel, goblet says, I used to feel the fragrant friendship of a little flower whose root was in my bosom buried deep. I used to feel the fragrant friendship of a little flower. Fragrant friendship of a little flower. Fragrant friendship of a little flower. What is the common consonantal sound you hear? F. F. Generated by this letter F. Fragrant friendship flower. We don't consider this sound f in of. Why? It is not in the beginning, it is at the end. Our theory is at the beginning. Therefore, there are three F letters creating first sound. Fragrant friendship flower, fragrant friendship flower. You see, nice alliteration. Then the next line, whose root was in my bosom buried. Bosom buried. Bosom buried. What is the common sound you hear? B, created by letter B. Bosom buried. Bosom buried. Nice alliteration. Now, this is how we find out alliteration in poetry. Alliteration in poetry. Very easy. The first thing you have to do is to be familiar with the consonant and the sounds produced by the consonants. We pay attention, we must pay attention to these sounds. Therefore, understanding and categorizing or analyzing alliteration is not that easy. It's as easy as understanding rhyming. Now, rhyming is checked between lines. Alliteration is checked within a line. That is the difference. Rhyming is checked at the end of each poetic line or lines. But alliteration is checked within a line. Within a line. Right. Now, I think you have some idea about this alliteration. Right. Now, in this series, we have discussed two sound devices. One is rhyming, the other one is alliteration. In my next lesson, I will teach you another important sound device used in poetry. Another important, right? Until that, we'll stop this discussion today. Thank you for all discussing or listening to this program and try to understand these techniques if you are going to study poetry, English poetry, right? This is common to all type of poetry, English or Sinhalese or Tamil or Japanese or any type of poetry, right? Thank you for watching. Right. Goodbye.